Imagine turning on your camera to document the ultimate outdoor adventure, completely unaware that it will be the last thing you ever record. Every single year, thousands of survivalists and digital creators venture into the world's most breathtaking yet treacherous landscapes. They seek the ultimate thrill, the perfect shot, and the next viral video. But sometimes, nature strikes back with an unforgiving vengeance, turning a dream project into a living nightmare. Today, we uncover the chilling and tragic stories of 4 popular outdoor YouTubers who stepped into the wild to film their content, but never made it back home alive. Our first story takes us to the frozen, desolate wilderness of Northern Europe, where the elements can turn deadly in a matter of minutes. Meet Storm Debule, a passionate and highly experienced 22-year-old Belgian adventurer. Storm's YouTube channel was incredibly unique. Unlike other creators, he never spoke a single word in his videos. Instead, he relied entirely on the raw, ambient sounds of nature, the crackle of a campfire, the crunch of snow, and the howling wind to make his viewers feel like they were right there beside him in the absolute isolation. He was no amateur or casual hiker either. Storm had been solo camping since he was just 19 years old and possessed incredible survival skills. At one point, he even cycled over 3,700 miles across Sweden all on his own, proving he could handle extreme physical challenges. But on the fateful night of October 29th, 24, the unpredictable wrath of winter caught him completely off guard. Storm was trekking through the remote and rugged Yakmach region located in the Swedish Lapland. This was supposed to be the final leg of a multi-day journey, and he was only a single day's walk away from the safety of his parked car. As darkness fell rapidly over the freezing landscape, continuing on foot became far too dangerous due to the zero visibility. Storm made the tactical decision to pitch his tent for the night. Sensing the shifting weather, he carefully stacked heavy snow around his tent as a makeshift barrier to block the freezing winds. He believed he could comfortably ride out the cold until morning. He was tragically wrong. Hours after he went to sleep, a monstrous, historic blizzard slammed into the mountains. Screaming Arctic winds reached a devastating 75 miles per hour, battering his small shelter. While the actual temperature dropped below freezing, the brutal wind chill factor made the environment feel like a deadly 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Trapped inside his failing tent, Storm realized the gravity of his situation. At around midnight, he managed to send a terrifying video to a close friend, showing his tent literally being torn to shreds by the savage wind. His last recorded words in that clip were haunting. "Tonight, it's going to get worse. Jesus Christ." Right after sending that video, he called his grandmother, trying his best to remain calm and reassure her that he was safe and would survive the night. At 2:36 a.m., the Swedish emergency authorities received a desperate SOS signal from Storm. He reported sustaining multiple severe injuries, including a broken nose, and begged for immediate rescue. But the extreme weather had locked him in a frozen cage. The blinding whiteout and violent winds made it absolutely impossible for rescue helicopters to take off, and deep snow drifts completely blocked ground rescue teams from reaching his coordinates. The relentless blizzard finally subsided around 10 o'clock the next morning, allowing rescue teams to rush to his last known GPS location. Sadly, by the time they arrived, it was already too late. The extreme sub-zero temperatures had claimed his life. The lower half of his body had turned purple from hypothermia, and the blood on his face from his broken nose was frozen solid. Oddly enough, searchers found his body nearly 1.6 miles away from his collapsed tent. It remains a mystery whether his shelter collapsed first, forcing him to run into the blinding storm, or if he left voluntarily in a desperate attempt to walk toward his car before freezing. The only comfort left for his grieving family was that Storm passed away, doing exactly what he loved. From the freezing, icy peaks of Sweden, we travel to the blistering, unforgiving desert plains of the American Southwest, where danger hides not in the cold, but in the suffocating heat. Hannah Rose Moody was a vibrant and deeply loved 31-year-old influencer and content creator living in Scottsdale, Arizona. While her primary YouTube channel focused heavily on her faith and Christian community, her Instagram profile captured a completely different side of her life. Her immense passion for hiking across the rocky, beautiful desert terrain of Arizona. Hitting these challenging trails multiple times a week had become second nature to her ever since she moved to the state 6 months prior. May 21st was supposed to be just another ordinary, refreshing hike to start her week. Hannah woke up early, packed her gear, and drove to the Gateway Trailhead located within the McDowell Sonoran Preserve. She parked her vehicle and confidently set out for a 4.5-mile trek across the popular Loop Trail. It was a moderately challenging path with rocky ground and sudden elevation changes, but it was nothing Hannah hadn't successfully conquered many times before. She estimated that she would easily complete the hike in under 3 hours, and she had even made solid plans to meet up with her close friends for lunch afterward, but Hannah would never make it to that restaurant. By late afternoon, her friends grew deeply alarmed when she failed to show up for lunch. It was completely unlike Hannah to ghost anyone or run late without sending a text message. She wasn't answering any phone calls either, and every ring went straight to voicemail. After waiting at the restaurant for several anxious hours, her friends decided to drive over to her house at around 7:50 p.m., hoping she was simply resting after a tiring hike. But when they arrived, their hearts sank. Her car was missing from the driveway, the house lights were completely turned off, and the front door was securely locked. Realizing that something was terribly wrong, they immediately contacted the local authorities. The police quickly located her missing car, still parked at the Gateway Trailhead. Within hours, a massive search and rescue operation was launched, utilizing high-tech helicopters, thermal drones, and K9 tracking units to scour the dangerous trail in the pitch-black darkness. The search had to be briefly paused at 11:30 p.m. due to the extreme danger of navigating the desert cliffs at night, but it resumed with even more volunteers at the first sign of dawn. Then at 12:05 p.m. the next day, a rescue helicopter pilot made the heartbreaking discovery everyone had been dreading. Just 600 yards off the designated walking path, rescuers found the remains of Hannah Moody lying face down in the dirt. She was completely unresponsive and had been deceased for several hours. Medical examiners investigated the scene thoroughly, but found absolutely no signs of foul play, no intoxicating substances in her system, and no head trauma from a sudden fall. The killer was silent, invisible, and completely lethal. Extreme heat stroke. On the day of her hike, desert temperatures had soared past a suffocating 102 degrees Fahrenheit. Investigators concluded that the intense, overwhelming heat caused her brain to become profoundly disoriented, making her wander away from the safety of the marked path in confusion before collapsing. Her final published videos now stand as a tragic and unintentional permanent goodbye to her loved ones. When a professional survival expert mysteriously vanishes in the wilderness, the questions left behind can become deeply unsettling and difficult to answer. Kiny was a highly respected 33-year-old survival specialist from the Pitt County area in Scotland. Finn didn't just practice wilderness survival as a hobby, he taught it for a living, operating a popular local survival school called Wildcat Bushcraft. He dedicated his life to teaching young children and adults essential wilderness survival skills, foraging, hunting, and how to build secure shelters entirely out of raw, natural materials. His business was accompanied by a successful YouTube channel of the same name, where Finn shared his vast knowledge and years of real-world experience with the world, completely for free. His educational content built him a small but fiercely loyal audience, who trusted his expertise completely. What these viewers never realized, however, was that this very channel would eventually play a role in Finn's tragic and mysterious end. Things took a dark turn on March 25th, 22, when Finn was dropped off near the remote Loch Naver in southern Sutherland. His ambitious goal was to head south and hike a grueling 45-mile distance to the small village of Golspie, documenting and filming his professional bushcrafting skills along the way for a brand new video project. His family knew the intense journey would take more than a single day, so they weren't overly concerned when he didn't reach his destination immediately. But when 3 full days passed with absolute silence, panic began to set in. Finn had made zero contact with anyone, and every single phone call from his worried family went straight to voicemail. On the 3rd day, Finn's father officially called the police and filed a missing person report, desperately holding on to the hope that his son was simply lost, had broken his phone, or was just taking his time navigating the terrain. Sadly, the reality was far worse. Finn had somehow vanished from the face of the earth without leaving a single trace behind. Despite the Scottish police spending months combing the dense forest and rugged terrain surrounding Loch Naver, they couldn't find a single clue regarding his whereabouts. Finn's case was even featured on a national British unsolved mystery television show about missing people. but the broadcast led to absolutely no new leads. Refusing to give up on his son, his father, Mark, kept searching the vast wilderness completely on his own, following the exact same routine month after month. Finally, after 19 agonizing months of solo searching, he uncovered the very first piece of real evidence, Finn's backpack, partially hidden in the thick bushes right along the bank of Loch Naver. While the family chose to keep the exact contents of the backpack private, the discovery gave them reason to believe that Finn had attempted to take a dangerous shortcut across the freezing waters of the loch and accidentally drowned. After searching the water for his remains for a few more months, they made the painful decision to stop and accept that Finn was truly gone. However, the internet community found it incredibly hard to believe that a professional survivalist would make such an amateur, fatal mistake, especially when he still had a massive journey ahead of him. This lingering doubt gave rise to much darker alternative theories online. Some speculate that Finn staged his own disappearance to start a completely new life, while others wonder if he intentionally entered the freezing deep water to end his life. To this day, exactly what happened to the creator of Wildcat Bushcraft remains a chilling and unsolved mystery. Sometimes the ultimate danger to an outdoor creator isn't the wilderness itself, but the journey back to reality. Andrew Cross was a brilliant 36-year-old outdoor YouTuber from Grand Junction, Colorado. His highly successful channel, Desert Drifter, featured extraordinary content that could best be described as historical archaeology mixed with deep wilds exploration. Andrew visited and documented any historical site he found fascinating, ranging from thousands of years old ancient stone walls to hidden abandoned German spy caves from World War II. Beyond being incredibly educational, his videos boasted Hollywood-level production quality and breathtaking cinematography, helping Andrew amass hundreds of thousands of dedicated subscribers in just 14 short months on the platform. His viewers absolutely loved his storytelling and eagerly awaited his next scheduled upload. But in late January 25, the booming channel suddenly went completely silent. Some fans assumed he was simply taking a well-deserved break, while others figured his next video was just taking longer than usual to edit. It wasn't until February 2nd that viewers finally received the truth from Andrew's wife, Evelyn, and it was far worse than any fan could have ever imagined. Andrew had been involved in a catastrophic car accident on January 31st, 25. Andrew was driving back home after a highly successful shoot at the Bears Ears National Monument in Utah. He was stopped at a red light at a busy intersection in Grand Junction when out of nowhere, an out-of-control vehicle violently rear-ended his car at an extreme height. The horrific impact caused Andrew's car to flip over multiple times, inflicting severe, irreversible brain damage. He was rushed to a nearby emergency hospital almost immediately, but the damage was done. He spent over a month in the intensive care unit, kept alive entirely by a life support system. During this agonizing time, it became devastatingly clear to medical professionals and his family that Andrew had absolutely zero chance of recovering from his catastrophic injuries. On March 4th, 25, his family had to make the most painful decision of their lives to remove the life support system and let him rest in peace. The tragic news completely shattered the global outdoor community. In an incredible display of love and support, his hundreds of thousands of fans banded together and raised over $544,000 to support his grieving family in their time of need. As for the reckless individual responsible for the fatal crash, he was promptly arrested by the police and charged with vehicular homicide and driving under the influence of intoxicating substances. While the legal system processes the case, millions of viewers continue to mourn a brilliant creator whose journey was cut short, not by the dangerous wild trails he bravely conquered, but by a reckless act on the road back home. These stories serve as a powerful and solemn reminder that no matter how experienced, prepared, or skilled someone might be, the world around us is entirely unpredictable. The creators we highlighted today left behind a permanent digital legacy, allowing their passion for adventure to live on forever through their videos. Which of these mysteries impacted you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most chilling cases. Stay safe out there, and we will see you in the next video.